Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, musicians, and comedians that perform here and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what makes our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Don Davis Womack.
Hello, laughers. Tickle your culinary delights and gain culinary business and leadership insights with our guest today, Kristo Papa. He is the culinary maestro behind Rocktown Kitchen and co-owner with his wife, Mira, of a beloved farm-to-table restaurant nestled in the heart of Harrisonburg, Virginia. They met at work in Charlottesville, working in the food industry. Their language proved a bit of a challenge at first, as they're both from different countries, but that did not stand in the way of their relationship, their work, or their dreams. Together, they own and ran a restaurant in Crozet for a stint before moving to Harrisonburg to scoop up the space at Ice House that became Rocktown Kitchen. Their journey from humble beginnings to culinary excellence is a testament to their passion for hospitality and the dedication to the community. Their restaurant is devoted to their farm-to-table model, with an estimated 90% of their ingredients coming from Virginia farms, using local ingredients to help support area farmers. They craft elevated American cuisine with a Mediterranean twist, sourcing the freshest ingredients from local farms to create a dining experience that's both exceptional and welcoming. Welcome to the show, Kristo. It's great to have you on today.
It's great to be here.
It is great to be here. I just love you and your wife. We are also neighbors, so that's pretty exciting.
Yes, we are.
And so we see each other and our dogs sometimes around the hood when we're not busy and running around the world doing other things. So I feel honored to have you on this podcast today, and I can't wait to learn more about your journey and your story and how you make the delightful food here at Rocktown Kitchen.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Now, Kristo, how did you start your journey being a chef? Where did this begin?
This began when I was 14 years old. I was going to school, and then in the evenings, I was cooking at a restaurant. So I've been cooking since 14. So 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was back in Greece, in Athens. That's the country I grew up in. And I started cooking with some very good chefs. I was very lucky. And I learned a lot from them. And when I was 17, I actually became a baker. So I have a lot of experience in baking as well. In fact, in one of the oldest bakeries in Athens.
Really?
It's in the Ammonia Square, yeah.
What is the name of the bakery in case we have global listeners, so you never know.
The name of the bakery is Ariston.
Okay.
Lobotesi.
Ah.
And it's been there, if I'm not mistaken, since 1893.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the staff I worked there with were also very hard workers and very knowledgeable. Some of them had been working there for 47 years, was one guy working there.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I was lucky through the entire period of my career to work with some great chefs and some great people.
Wow.
Which is definitely one of the most important things in my career.
I would say so. And then you came to the U.S. and you're cooking here. What would you say is something that you learned from the American chefs that maybe the international chef experience here in your background didn't have, possibly?
Definitely the Southern cooking. I learned from a chef from Alabama, which is also my best friend now.
Oh, that's
and
great.
He's also a mentor of mine. He's a Southern chef, executive chef. And his cooking techniques were just so amazing. He was not afraid to work. He was a hard worker. So I did learn the hard work here, and I did learn the different flavors, the Southern flavors, like cooking with heavy cream and cooking with sugar. In Greece, cooking is mostly savory, except desserts. But here in America, I had to deal with barbecue sauces and a variety. So I've learned more variety in America of foods and ingredients.
Mm. What was the first thing you learned about being a chef when you were getting trained in Athens that surprised you about cooking?
The one thing that I would think I learned was that I was definitely surprised was the long hours. No matter where you work in the world, if you're a chef, you work the long hours. But I didn't mind it.
No.
I'll be honest, I didn't mind it. I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yes, very much.
How come?
It was a safe job. You can find a job anywhere. You had a meal or two guaranteed every day.
That's right.
And so I think without knowing at the time, I think that that's what kept me cooking, because not only it was enjoyable, but also you would never go hungry. You would never be jobless. And back then, 30 years ago, it was a big deal to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be in a waiting list to be employed somewhere, especially in a good restaurant or a bakery. So I was holding that very, very dear.
Mm.
So yeah, the long hours is the one thing that impressed me a little bit. Not necessarily for the best, but I'm like, oh my God, is that what I need to do to keep a job? But then I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did.
What is your favorite Greece dish to prepare?
My favorite Greek dish, and it's funny that I will say this because I never prepared it here in my restaurant, but it is moussaka.
Okay.
I always make it at home still.
Yeah.
I make it for my kids, my wife. It takes a little bit of time to make.
Yeah.
But that's the enjoyable part of it, especially when you make it with your family. So I would say moussaka is my favorite Greek dish to make.
And for someone who's never had moussaka like myself, what is it?
So it's layers of potatoes, zucchini, eggplant, ground beef, almost like meat sauce, but thick meat sauce. Ground beef, and then topped with bechamel sauce and baked in the oven.
Mm.
It's just amazing. A lot of calories, but it's amazing.
It's worth every one of those, isn't it?
Absolutely. On your cheat day, for sure.
And then what's your favorite Southern dish to prepare?
My favorite Southern dish is got to be the fried chicken. We have never prepared the chicken as fried chicken back home. When I say back home, I was born in Albania and I grew up in Greece. But in neither of those countries, we don't do fried chicken. So when I came here and I learned and I tasted the fried chicken, I'm like, this is good. This is really good. I also like to prepare my Southern style green beans, the bacon and onions. I like macaroni and cheese. I'm pretty sure that's Southern. I like a lot of Southern dishes.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to cook Southern dishes, to be honest. It's just so much flavor going on in the Southern dishes.
Mm. Yeah.
But my favorite would be fried chicken and then chicken fried steak.
Okay.
I love chicken and waffles too.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Also, I enjoy that. You mentioned, when did you come to the U.S., by the way?
In 2001. So 23 years ago.
23 years ago. So when you said 30 years ago, and it was difficult to get a job, that's back in Greece?
Greece, yeah.
Okay.
So I migrated with my family to Greece when I was 12 or 13.
Okay. All right. And then where is Mira from?
Mira is from Uzbekistan. That's ex-USSR.
Okay.
It's part of the bigger USSR.
Okay. All right. And then you guys met at the food industry in Charlottesville.
We did.
And and the language barrier. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Who noticed who first?
I noticed her first, but then she couldn't stop but noticing me. I definitely noticed her first. So at the time, I was cooking at the College Inn restaurant in Charlottesville. on in UVA Corner. And a friend of mine, and we were roommates actually, my roommate, he was working at the Omni Hotel in downtown Charlottesville. And he comes home one day and he's from Spain. And so he spoke English better than me for sure, but with a very thick Spanish accent. I'm sorry. Yeah. And he comes home one day and he goes, "Oh man, there's this Russian girls at the hotel. They just started working and they're like, mwah." He did this. They're so beautiful. I'm like, okay, well, let's ask them out.
You're just not wasting any time.
No. Well, and all this was kind of like sign language too. He was speaking, but I would understand things, but I didn't speak very good. So I'm like, let's go out. Let's ask them out. And so we go to the Omni Hotel. Mira used to work in the kitchen at that time. And it was about 11 p.m. and she was about to finish her shift. And she was cleaning. And here I am walking in the kitchen because he worked there too. So he was able to get me right in the kitchen. And I'm looking at her and he's like, "Yeah, that's one of the girls we're going out with." And I'm looking at her and she gave me a stare. Like, "What are you looking at?" That's when I knew I liked this girl. I swear. I'm like, "Ooh, okay."
A little spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went out for drinks and the rest is history, but it's a long history. But neither of us spoke very good English. Like when I say very good, we just knew basic words. We didn't speak at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I had been in the country for only like a year and a half. She had been here for 6 months. And so we started hitting it off really with just sign language, body language. It's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't.
Yeah. And now how many children and puppies later?
All right. 2 kids and 2 puppies.
Yeah. And then the restaurant you owned in Crozet, was it similar to Rocktown Kitchen or different?
It was a different setting. It was a country club setting. So in Old Trail Village in Crozet, and the restaurant itself, it's called Restoration. I believe it's still called Restoration to this day. We basically brought there almost the same menu, same flavors that we do here, but there. And that worked pretty well for us. We did a lot of events there as well. We did a lot of weddings. We were actually known for our weddings there. It was a wedding venue with a restaurant on site. And it worked really well for us there. We just had some hiccups with the owners of the building there. They wanted to do something else, and they wanted to kind of get a little bit more involved in my business. I wasn't up for that, so we left. We left there. We sold it back to them, and we were looking around. We were particularly looking in Charlottesville, to be honest, because all of our clientele was there, all of our customers. And one day, a friend of mine, he actually owns Sweet Treats in Lexington, in downtown Lexington. His name is Shane. So Shane calls me and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just hanging out." This was in between restaurants. I had already sold that. I wanted to take like 6 months break. Because you got to understand, I mean, I started cooking since I was 14. And now this was 7 years ago. So like at 37, I wanted to take a break for a few months. I could financially do that too.
Yeah.
And so we traveled for a bit.
Yeah.
With the kids and Mira. And then we came back here and he's like, "Hey," Shane goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing today, really." In the meantime, I had looked at other places in Charlottesville and I couldn't make up my mind. And then Shane goes, "Why don't you go and take a look at this place in Harrisonburg?" He said, "It's an old ice house and there used to be a burger joint there. It's called Pure Eats." I believe Pure Eats here was only 9 months open. And he said, and they shut down And so the building is available if you want to go take a look at it. And at first, I wanted to because I had nothing to do. And I told Mira that, and Mira is like, where? Harrisonburg? No, let's just stay in Charlottesville. I'm like, well, I'm just going to go take a look at it. And I came here, and the moment I opened the door to enter, I'm looking at this building that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I immediately fell in love with it. And I started designing the restaurant you see today that first day.
Wow.
And I just came to look at the building. And then I sent Mira the video. I'll show you the video later.
Okay.
I sent Mira the video. I'm like, this is my new restaurant. I had drawn on the floor with chalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you're crazy.
What'd you draw with the chalk? What did it say?
The design. I had drawn all the tables and chairs, how I wanted this done.
On the floor?
I designed the restaurant on the floor, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and then we started taking it seriously. And we almost bought a restaurant in Charlottesville.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the point that we were going to sign the lease.
Mm.
And Mira said, hey, the restaurant in Charlottesville was already open. So it wouldn't be my concept. It would be like me taking over somebody else's concept.
Mm.
And she said, this is not who you are. This is who you are. If you go to, to the one in Harrisonburg. And I loved the downtown too in here. I did like the city very much. The problem was Mira's family was in Charlottesville still.
Mm.
And it would be easier for us not to sell the house there and move.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be, it was a lot better for us to do this because this is me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was kind of like a no-brainer to navigate this way. And we actually did the build out in 45 days.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fast.
Yeah. We were here a lot of nights up until like 4 a.m. I would sleep where my office is now. I would sleep there and then get up in the morning, go to the gym just to take a shower all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was what year did Rocktown Kitchen open again?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 years now.
7 years. Can't believe it. Time flies.
It does. And you are mixing it up in the kitchen with all of the fusions that you put together, the Mediterranean twist, the American cuisine. How do you blend that culinary traditions with your backgrounds here at Rocktown Kitchen?
I mean, it's very easy. I was trained here by American chefs, and I was trained back home by Mediterranean chefs. So to me, just putting the ingredients together, it's fun. It's so much fun. Like I taste it first in my mind before I put it on paper, and then I put it on paper. So I kind of know, cooking for so long, you know what you're looking for, and you know how the finished product is going to taste and look. But yeah, so I try to do all my favorite foods all in one plate. Try to bring a lot of flavors in that same plate. And you got to look for texture. You have to look for color on every plate. You have to do that on every plate though. So it's pretty easy. It's enjoyable.
How often do you change up the menu when you're coming up with these different dishes?
I try to do it twice a year.
Okay.
I tried it in the very beginning doing it seasonally.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I found was that I was challenging myself. That's fine. But that's not what the consumer wanted. A lot of times people, when they get out of their houses, they know exactly where they want because of a particular dish and whatever they are craving. So they would come here and they would be like, where is the dill mustard salmon? I'm like, I changed the menu and, well, can you please bring that back? I'm here just for that, for example. This is just one example. And so over the years, I learned that challenging yourself is good, but you need to do what people want. You need to be more creative in that aspect. I'm very big in consistency. So I try to keep things consistent. So I do change the menu twice a year, and I don't really do any more drastic changes. Because again, you have to stick to your concept.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stick to who you are. I do play with specials a lot, though. So specials are every week, every 2 weeks. And then, of course, then you get stuck on one special that people really want that over and over again. So you run that on special for a little longer. But yeah. So we try to change it, especially like the sides on the dinner menu.
Yeah.
We do that very often.
Do you have a team of chefs that you work with? Do you train chefs, or you look for a certain kind of chef to come in your kitchen? How does that work to serve so many people so splendidly all the time?
So you need to take your time as the chef to work with your other chefs. You need to be not only their teacher, but you also need to be on the floor with them. It creates a sense of discipline, and it creates a sense of appreciation for your job and for whatever you're doing. Cooking is an instant gratification. So in the end of the night, I don't care how busy you are, how many hours you worked, you feel good for what you did. And so for you to do that, you need to work with a good team of chefs. Otherwise, you won't have a good day. So how do I do that is I work with my staff always, day in and day out. And I love training new chefs as well, because sometimes I feel like that's my purpose as a chef. And so when I interview people, I don't necessarily look for a particular set of skills. I look for a particular set of character. You can teach somebody the skill. I don't think you can bend their character. They are who they are, and you can't change that. So first, you need to make sure you click before you even bring them in the kitchen or in the dining room. So in every interview that we conduct here, whether that is for the back of the house or the front of the house, we tell people that, hey, we have expectations. We take this job very seriously. This is our livelihood. And we would like for you to take it seriously too. If you think you're just going to come here just to pay your bills, that's not your place, the place of work for you. You need to go elsewhere. We are looking for individuals that will make a difference in our business with our customers, because we love our customers. And I'm not just saying that because, I'm trying to appeal to the customers, but Harrisonburg actually has the best customers ever. Oh my God.
It's the friendly city.
I agree, actually, 100%.
Yeah.
In Charlottesville was a little bit, Charlottesville. There was a little bit of an entitlement going on. In Harrisonburg is more like, thank you for being here. Like genuinely. Well, that makes me feel good after 16 hours of work.
Yeah. Family vibes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So in our interviews, we make it very clear to the new employees or employees to be that we're easygoing, we are nice, but we know what we want and we're not going to bend. So this is who Rocktown Kitchen is. We have 3 of the things that I never compromise is consistency.
Yeah.
Meaning that you come here and you liked the chicken risotto, for example, and you come next time with your friends bragging about it, how good it was. It better be just the same way as it was when you liked it. That's important. Consistency is very important. Presentation is another important thing. Back where I come from, we say you eat your food with your eyes first. And your eyes then tell the brain, hey, it's okay. You can open the mouth now.
You can take a chance on this
right
food.
And the third one is quality. You have to have good quality. Our customers here, they know what's up. They can tell if the quality is there or not. So, and I am, to be honest, I wasn't trained to use less than excellent quality. I was very lucky. So I don't even know what it is not to be quality food. I refuse to cook with it.
I'm all for the quality, Kristo. Yes. In fact, I brought some quality culinary delightful snacks with us for us today from PrePOPsterous. How about this?
Delicious.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I've been munching, but yes.
It is. This is very well said. It is absurdly flavorful gourmet popcorn where the kernels are grown right here in the Shenandoah Valley.
It's amazing.
I know.
It's addictive.
It is truly addictive. It doesn't last very much or very long in my house whenever I have.
Yeah,
so.
I can imagine. And
I enjoy it a lot. They also make great gifts, PrePOPsterous popcorn. For literally, you can gift it for any occasion, birthdays, anniversaries. Your employees make great corporate gifts. Think about that. Yeah. Literally anything you can think of.
Yeah, it's a perfect size bag too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And plus, Laughers, you get a 15% discount when you use promo code LAUGH15. Just visit PrePOPsterous.com. That's PrePOPsterous.com and buy some delicious popcorn today. I'm very excited about this popcorn. I'm always excited to share it with the guests. But we're going to get back to you, Kristo. Harrisonburg seems to hold a special place in your hearts. You were just talking about that and the customers. What drew you to this vibrant community beyond the space? Or was it just the space? You were like, yep.
Well, no, it wasn't just the space. I loved the space when I arrived, but what really drew me into the community was that I didn't know much about the community, to be honest, but I did know a little bit about Harrisonburg, that Harrisonburg is up and growing. So that's where I wanted to have a mark in that. I wanted to be in that stage. You know, I wanted to be a small part of growing Harrisonburg, if that makes sense. And so we came over here, and while we're building the space, we're going to other restaurants in town, and every restaurant in town was amazing. But there weren't too many restaurants. And that's when I knew that, okay, this city needs a good restaurant. I knew I was 100% positive that this would work here. And I kind of like the city's layout, almost like a square. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a square. Like all the main roads are very, very easily connected. Shopping centers everywhere. So I kind of liked the layout of the city. And then, to my surprise, then meeting the people, it was the best. It was like the cherry on top of a pie.
There's good people here.
No, seriously. Very good people. Like, I couldn't have asked for better.
Yeah.
Love the people.
The people are they're a quality item.
Yes.
Priceless, as a matter of fact, for
Absolutely.
us here in our community. And speaking of community, beyond the delicious food that you serve, how do you all engage with the local community here and support regional artisans and producers?
We do a lot of fundraisers in here. We do a lot of donations. We donate to institutions. We donate to nonprofits. We donate every year to the Children's Museum that has a special place in my heart and my wife's heart. So we're very engaged with that. We've donated to Rice. We've donated to almost all of the organizations and institutions. We even donate to high schools and middle schools for them to buy new equipment, buy new instruments for the band. My son was part of a band in middle school and high school. So when we heard that the high school was trying to raise money to buy new instruments for the kids, I'm like, sign me up for that. Yeah. So I truly believe that you need to give back in a community that you like and you love. That's the only way to go forward, really.
Your son is still in a band, or did he take it?
Yeah, he's not doing marching band anymore, but he's doing symphonic bands and jazz band.
Okay, here locally?
Yes. Well, he's in Spotswood High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think they every time they go in competitions, they win. They're very good.
Good,
Yeah,
really?
those kids are great.
Oh, did they go through any of the breweries or any of the spots in town and play yet?
Unfortunately, not.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
We can check with him.
No, he drives, so I don't know where he goes.
He's mobile. He's mobile.
He
Watch
is
out.
Scary.
Oh, we thought we were worried about him when we gave birth to him, and then they start driving,
I know.
spraying every day.
It is very worrisome.
Oh my goodness.
But we did it. So.
Yeah, we're all still surviving. That's good. You have an emphasis here, switching gears a little bit on hospitality training. How do you ensure that every guest at Rocktown Kitchen feels like family? So we've talked about how you feel like they're family. Now it's the other way. How do you show that to them in your hospitality?
By making sure you're going from table to table and greeting them always. And by making sure that when they come in, they're greeted with a smile as well. Unfortunately, in our day and age, it's a little hard to find a restaurant that greets you anymore. We've been to other places too when we travel, and not in Harrisonburg, but in other places, in other cities. It's hard to find a restaurant that you almost feel like, as a customer, you almost feel like you're not wanted there. And that's the worst. And I try to make sure that that is not the case here. So yeah, by talking to your customers, by involving yourself in their everyday lives too, like, hey, how you doing? How's your family? And that comes naturally after a while. So, and you saw when we were.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as we were coming in. Yeah, as we were getting ready to sit down, Laughers, and do this interview, we passed by a couple that was eating here for lunch.
Yeah.
And I found out they're neighbors of mine too while we were chatting.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, Kristo. Yeah.
You know what I tell my servers always? I tell them, why are the customers so important? They're so important because, think about it. Break it down here. Before they came here, they had about 200 choices where to go. But they picked us to come and spend an hour and a half to 2 hours of their time in the day. So that alone speaks volumes. So let's just treat them like family. Let's give them a good time. They're here. We should be thankful for it because they could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel when people come to comedy shows.
Yeah.
All the things you could have picked, you picked us.
You picked us. Isn't that special?
It is very special.
Yeah.
And we like to share that with people that do come to our shows because it means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
That we get to have fun and laugh with them. And food is fun too. You laugh when you go dining, hopefully, with the people you're with.
Yeah.
Having a good time. It's creating memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what life is all about, creating memories.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. And you have such a cool atmosphere here. It's casual fine dining.
Yes.
That's an interesting term. Why do we call it that? And how do you strike the balance between the upscale dining and this relaxed atmosphere you have here?
That's a great question, actually, because that's exactly what I was going for when we built the restaurant. So while in America, I was trained to be a fine dining chef. And I really wanted to do fine dining, but I didn't want people to feel like they have to dress up and come here. They have to have a dress code or in some ways maybe even feel uncomfortable with the terms of the food, like using the French terms and the Italian terms. So my thing was I wanted people to really understand what my menu says, because that thing is going in their body. So instead of challenging myself of being a fine dining chef, I wanted to take it down a notch, but not lose who I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I took the tablecloth off, as you can see.
Yeah.
And I also just made the words sound English.
So we don't have to point to the waiter or waitress and here, we want this.
Yeah, what is this? I guess we'll just trust the chef.
Oh, yeah. How do you say this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I simplified it that way because it was very important to me that I literally wanted people to come here in their PJs if they wanted to.
Mm.
In fact, when I was doing the build out here, people would stop by curious and they would enter and they're like, oh, what is this going to be? They were so excited. And I told them it's going to be like a upper casual dining, borderline fine dining. They're like, what is that? I'm like, that is, see, like you're walking with your dog right now and stopped in here. I want you to do that when I'm open.
Mm.
Just don't care what you're wearing. Don't care how you look like. You just come here to have a good experience all around. And so I thought instead of doing fine dining, I would still, instead of saying to people that I'm fine dining, I would just show that with my service and my food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to say I'm fine dining, and I'm not.
Mm-mm. No, you got a nice selection of menu items that you can choose from. You mentioned finding a rhythm of changing up about twice a year. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering what your approach to developing those menus twice a year, what that all looks like and how you go about ingredient selection. Walk us through how a chef says, okay, it's that time of year. I'm going to change the menu. What is the process of
depending
doing
on
that? Yeah.
Number one is the product. When can you find it? When can you bring it here? So that is on my list. That's the number one thing when I want to change an item on the menu or when I want to change the menus. And then another process is a lot of times I have a discussion with my chefs too. I'm like, hey, you guys, what do you want to cook? What do you like to cook? Let's put that on the menu. And then it's just a matter of putting it on paper and then focusing on what do you want this plate to look like? Because like I said, it's very important, the presentation.
Yeah.
And where are you going to source the food that you can always get? Mm-hmm. That's the most difficult thing because you can work with local farms all day long, but if they cannot supply you with what your business needs for the week, for example, or for the day, because a lot of people, they can't deliver every day either, then you have to look elsewhere. And that's what makes this job a little bit harder, but enjoyable still. Mm-hmm. So you need to see where you source your food first in order to put it on the menu. Because once you put it on the menu, it's going to stay there for like 4 or 5 months. So you just need to make sure you can get that particular
for that long.
And then just putting it together, it's the easy part. Yeah. Because again, I usually do what I like to eat. This is how I start. Oh, for example, oh my God, craving some baby back ribs right now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe with some corn on the cob, baked beans.
That sounds good.
Put it on paper and just make it happen. That's it.
When you do the new menu selection, do the chefs do a taste test before you put it in written form on the menu? And okay,
I was
that's fun.
I was creating a special yesterday. Yesterday. And I was doing a grilled octopus salad, and I couldn't get all of my chefs to try it because a lot of them are like, "What is this? Octopus?" Yeah. I'm like, "Hey, you've got to try it. You're a chef. You got to try it."
I'd have questions too.
I don't know why though. I love octopus.
I don't know. You said like what you envision how your food looks like. People are seeing a octopus in their mental picture, and it's a little disturbing.
Just don't think of the whole picture of the octopus. Just think tentacles.
Yeah, sure, that helps.
It does. I swear.
Did they give it a try though?
They did, and they loved it.
Okay.
They really did. Like, wow, this is amazing. And that's another, interesting way of presenting your chefs with things that they've never tried before. By doing specials. And a lot of times when they try things like the okra, I've done okra in here. And a lot of my chefs didn't even know what okra is.
Okra? Okra.
Yeah.
Yes, I know okra. Yeah.
Eggplant. I use a lot of that. And at first they're like, oh yeah, I don't really like okra. I'm like, well, try it. I'm pretty sure you're going to love it. And so they try new foods and they're excited. They're excited to do that now and they love it. And I think part of why they love their jobs is because of that, because they get to try new foods always.
Yeah.
New flavors.
They might talk me into becoming a chef.
I wouldn't say an easy job, but it's an enjoyable job.
It is enjoyable. It sounds like it, especially this taste testing part. I would love that. You also have a full bar here with an extensive wine list and featuring also our local craft beers. What do you think would be something about the bar most people don't know or something unique about it you think visitors should be familiar with?
Well, it's definitely a crafty bar. People we have working behind the bar are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves our bartenders. So if you haven't been here, come and give it a try because you're going to have a great time. Our bartenders engage with you. They make you feel special. They make you feel at home. They ask you actually, what do you feel like? It's not on the menu. I'll make it. So it's a very crafty bar. We make our own mixers here, fresh. So I would say I have probably the best. We have the best Manhattans here.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite drink here at the bar is Perfect Manhattan. It's called Perfect Manhattan, and I just love it. I have it everywhere. It's just not like have it in here. It tastes different here. And everybody that I recommend to drink that in here actually says the same thing. Oh my God, this is amazing. But I think it's because of the bartenders. They just know the ratios. They know how to, just like cooking. They know how to mix things together.
Yeah.
Mira, actually, my wife, does an amazing job with that. She is the one that actually crafted the bar and the wines. And I did the beer. I wanted to make sure that it was only Virginia beer. Only local beer. And this is what we've done from day one. But Mira is the wine person and the cocktail.
Okay.
So if you liked your wine selection or your cocktails, I can't take any credit for that.
There are some other brainchilds behind that part of the business. I see. And you have a pretty, it changes pretty often. I think the cocktail menu special.
Yes.
You have about 4 or 5, I think, usually on special.
Yes, at least. We ask our bartenders to have specials every day. Just like in the kitchen, you have to have a special at the bar, same way. And again, Mira tries really hard to engage with them and work with them as far as being creative with seasonal drinks.
Okay.
Right? Like what does she want to do for Valentine's week? Or what does she want to do for St. Patrick's week? So she's very on point with that.
Okay.
And I enjoy her drinks very much.
I know she's made some for me too. They're really good. And to attest to the fact that your bartenders are very friendly.
Oh my!
We came here for my birthday, have dinner here, and we had to wait. We were at the bar, and he was very friendly.
I'm telling you, they'll make you feel like at home. They'll treat you like like a VIP.
Yeah.
They treat everybody like that, and not to mention that they're very skillful people.
Yeah.
We're very lucky.
Yes. They're very yes, and they're confident in their ability.
They're very confident, yes.
But in a very fun way.
Yeah, and they're genuinely good people.
Yeah.
I love working with genuinely good people, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, it makes
and they're smiling and they're having fun.
Yes.
Looks like they're enjoying their job. That's Always a bonus for me as a customer.
Yes.
For all of us, you would love to see people working somewhere and having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. Can you share some memorable moments or milestones in your journey here in the 7 years at Rocktown Kitchen?
Sure. During COVID, we thought we were going out of business.
So many of us did. What is going to become of us?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty memorable. We will never forget that. But we knew that the way I put it during COVID to my wife was, if we can hold our breath underwater for a little longer, we're going to get on top.
Mm.
And so after COVID, actually, our business grew 100%.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. So sometimes things happen for a reason, and I'm a big believer in that. But when you're low, just don't give up. Just don't give up. Because there's going to be a light in the end of the tunnel. And that's exactly what we believed during COVID, and it happened. We grew by 100%. That's huge.
That is huge.
But yeah, it was those 2 weeks that we were ordered to close the business, and the business had been doing amazing. And here you go, one day, somebody just tells you, well, shut it down. That's it. I'm like, wait, what? What did I do wrong?
No.
And so that was a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But I didn't swallow it. We worked with the menu. So I changed the menus. I did takeout menus. Because, I'm a little bit, my food requires a plate and a steak knife most of the times. So it's hard to pack that. But we picked a couple of items that we could serve for family dinners. And that kept us going because we were busy with the takeouts when we opened 2 weeks later. I decided to open it because all my staff wanted to work. I was worried about my staff too. So what I was doing sometimes is I would come here, I would cook, and I would invite them to come over and eat. Or I would send food home with them. I would say, come and pick it up, go home, because some people weren't comfortable seeing other people. But yeah, you have to be creative. And that was one of the most memorable times here. The other memory that I have here, speaking of the great Harrisonburg people. So when we opened the first year, so we opened the doors in May. In December, business was good, but we decided not to do any advertisement. We wanted to build it like brick by brick and just by the word of mouth. And that's what we did. And we built that reputation by word of mouth. But in the process, that was a longer process for people to know that we're even here. So in that December of 2017, I told my wife, I said, if we don't get more business like today, I am not sure how we're going to make it. So that day, the landlord, which is Matchbox, came here and he purchased $3,500 worth of gift cards.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I say everything happens for a reason. You just don't know when it's gonna happen. And he probably doesn't know it, but he saved our business.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's another moment that I will never forget. And then after that, then that January came, we just grew like crazy. We started getting busier to the point that I'm looking at my dining room. It's full and everybody's enjoying themselves. And you can tell by their smiles and their faces, and you go and talk to them and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm wondering, are they coming back tomorrow? Is it going to be like this tomorrow? So every day I would wake up, I'm like, oh, I hope it's busy like last night. And then after a while, you're like, I'm always busy now.
Yeah, but I imagine there is that anticipation because you put your heart and soul into a business, and it's blood, sweat, and tears, financial investment, time investment, spiritual investment, emotional investment.
You're all in.
You want to see it work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they say, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. I like that. That was such a look at you just out here inspiring people
Yes.
left and right. There had to have been the challenges like you mentioned, the pandemic being a really big one. What are some of the rewards of running this restaurant together with Mira?
Definitely socializing.
Yeah.
That's reward number one. The other reward is working with people, with our team. That's, like I said, it's instant gratification in the end of the night. So being able to understand that you've made a difference, meaning that we've created jobs, we've created a place for people to gather. That's very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge reward. And when you do that every day, it's an instant gratification. So that's the most memorable thing, I think, that I will always take with me having this business. The customers. We meet new people all the time too, because parents of JMU students come all the time.
Yeah.
You know, where are you from? And where are you from? And by the way, everybody keeps telling us, oh, you should have a restaurant in New York City. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sure. It's that easy.
Yeah. Just open it up tomorrow. And
Yeah.
45 days later, just like this time.
Yeah, just tell me where you want.
Yeah. It doesn't work like that, does it? There are some people out there listening, I'm sure, or they know someone possibly that is aspiring to open a restaurant. What advice would you give based on your experiences in the industry if someone out there was thinking about opening up a restaurant?
Don't give up.
Mm.
Don't give up and work hard. You know when they say work smarter, not harder?
Mm-hmm.
Work smarter and harder.
Mm.
There is no such thing as work smarter. So especially if you're opening a restaurant business, just work hard. You will get rewarded. I promise you.
Mm.
You will.
What do you think helped you keep going to not give up?
The passion for cooking. You have to have the passion. So here's another thing. You know, if you don't have the passion, but you have the money and you have the knowledge, but you don't have the passion, don't do it.
Mm.
This business needs passion.
Mm.
You need to have the passion. Otherwise, it's hard on your body, mentally. It's really hard. It's a hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's very multitasking kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
So it drains you. But if you have the passion for it, then you can do it. 100%. It's a market that is always in demand.
Yes.
People
are
need
going to need to eat.
You know?
Yeah.
So there is no reason for you not to be successful.
Yes.
Unless you don't want to be successful.
Choose to be successful.
Work hard.
I love it.
And be nice to your coworkers.
Yes.
You have to create a team that will want to work with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot do it by yourself.
No.
If I was here doing it all by myself, I would be shut down right now.
Yes.
So, and I cannot do it. So
no, it does. It takes a team.
It's because of my team that I'm where I am and I am doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I waited tables all the way through college. So I know what that's like. And the best experience the customer had is when the entire team was working together.
Correct. And it shows.
Mm-hmm.
It shows when the entire team is working. It's kind of like a clockwork. And this is what we get from our team members, actually. They say, we love it here because everything works like a clockwork. I don't know how. I'm like, yeah, I wonder how, but because I'm always here. And Mira, and we have great management team as well.
Yeah.
All of our coworkers are amazing.
Aw. Yay.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, my advice, if you can't create a team, you should not have a business. Because nobody would want to follow you.
Yeah, it's true.
You need to be a leader for people to follow you.
Yeah. And what do you think, before we close up here, while we're on the Winston Nugget train of dispensing the the great insights that you have. What do you think makes a great leader? What?
Hard work.
Hard work.
Yes.
Okay.
Hard work and character.
Yeah.
You need to know how to deliver the message. Anybody can shout something out, it might be a good message. But if you say it the wrong way, people are going to take it wrong. So hard work and character makes a good leader.
Yeah, both of those things you truly value in yourself.
Yes.
And your wife and in the business and with your team. Excellent. Well, then, how can the Rat Laughers best stay updated with Rocktown Kitchen on social media or otherwise so they can come experience this wonderful place for the first time or be reminded to come again?
That's a great point. Well, we have a Facebook page. We have our website, www.rocktownkitchen.com. We are on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. We don't like sending emails out and bother people with group email. So social media is where you can keep in touch with us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kristo. This has been super fun chatting it up with you about all things food and Rocktown Kitchen today. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And Laughers, to learn more about this farm-to-table restaurant, order online, or eat in for the experience, visit their website at rocktownkitchen.com today. Also, don't forget that discount on PrePOPsterous using promo code LAUGH15 at PrePOPsterous.com. That way you can munch on it when you join me on next week's episode. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, Laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring one to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share this podcast with a friend, and until next time, cheers.